Welcome back to another episode of the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. It's your healthy habits and lifestyle coach, Giovanni, and I help those with endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome reduce chronic pain, eliminate that distress, and minimize irregular or heavy periods through my M to the third degree healing empowerment formula. Y'all, today we have a guest in the Good Vibe studio.
Hello.
Y'all, and if it's your first time, welcome to the Empowered Place Empowered Lives podcast. It's our safe space where we empower you on your healing journey. We got a journey of strength today. But before we dive into this episode, you already know what time it is. Vibe with me, y'all. Welcome to the Empowered Plates Empowered Lives podcast. Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Empowered Plates Empowered Lives podcast. I am so excited to have with us today DeShanda Green, y'all, a real estate investor, flight attendant, and advocate for taking ownership over your health. Y'all, DeShanda's journey with endometriosis has been challenging, but y'all, her resilience and commitment to living a pain-free life have inspired her to share her story and empower others. So today she's going to discuss the importance of taking ownership in more ways than one. So whether it's through mindset, mindful eating, or movement, and how faith and action have guided her path, y'all, it's going to be an empowering conversation that's going to inspire you to take control of your health. Welcome to the Empowered Plates Empowered Lives podcast, DeShanda.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. And I'm so excited for you to share your journey of strength. So let's talk first about like how you had to seek help for your endometriosis and how that experience kind of shaped your approach to managing your condition. We're going to get into like, why did you even actually go seek help? What did that even look like? Like what gave you that push?
Man, so again, thank you, Jojo, for having me. And what gave me the push to seek help is I was experiencing extremely painful periods. It was like not normal, like at all. They were so painful, and to a point where I even felt like a growth, like on my ovaries. And so, come to find out, I did have a growth of endometrioma. It was like a 9 centimeters, very surfaced, and it was just extremely painful. So I went to the doctor, and that was what they diagnosed me with. And so that's what led me to be aware that I had endometriosis.
If you could describe your journey thus far with endometriosis, what would that one word be?
Challenging, honestly. It's challenging. Like just as recent as this morning, I was just like, oh, just having to take my time to like get myself together and breathe, because it's sometimes just random pains. And so yeah, it's just challenging kind of on a day-to-day basis, to be honest.
And I think what I love about you, DeShanda, is you do what you have to do in the moment that when it comes, you know, when it shows up, when that flare happens, when that pain is there. And so when that moment happened today and you felt that pain, how did you know you needed to slow it down? How did you know you needed to kind of breathe? And what did that look like for your body? How did your body even respond to that?
I honestly was like annoyed because I have like such a structured day, and I'm just like, oh, and like on a time frame, right? And so obviously I didn't plan on having to take another hour, honestly, to get myself together. So I'm like hunched over, going to the bathroom, and I put my heating pad, plug that up real quick. And so my body just let me know that it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready to start my day. I was ready to start my day. I have things to do. I have appointments, but I just had to take a beat, take a moment, breathe, and let it pass, because it will pass. It just Yeah, it doesn't care. It just interrupts my day, but I still, get myself together and move forward. So,
And so what else do you use? So you mentioned a heating pad. You mentioned deep breathing. What
hmm
else do you use to help you get that place where you meet your body where it is to
just
say,
like hot water and lemon. Do hot water and lemon. It is summertime, but so what? That really does help kind of soothe my insides. And so that's effective as well. So.
I like it. All right, so you talked about navigating multiple treatments before, from surgery to hormone therapy and lifestyle changes. What does ownership over endo? What does that really look like for you, and how has it influenced your decision making process when it comes to managing your health?
Ownership over endometriosis to me looks like um, example of what I did this morning. Not allowing it to consume me and keep me bedridden and stop from living my life. I gave it its time to, me to work through what I need to, but also still persevere, right, and be determined to take back my life and eating more clean. And so I believe I'm getting ownership by eating more plant-based foods. I could even sense that I need more fruits and vegetables. And so I went to Harris Teeter and got me some, got my berries and nuts and all the things I need to do. Anti-inflammatory foods that JoJo, or your guide, is very, very helpful, honestly. And so, yeah, and ownership looks like exercising. So I really, really, really do love and need to exercise regularly. And so that's like 3 days a week. And so that's what ownership looks like for me.
I
Mm.
like it. I absolutely like it. I want to take it to, first, you talking about the guide. I love that you said that the guide has been helping you. Tell me a little bit about it. Like, how have you been able to really take the information in the guide and really apply it? And what benefits have you seen using the guide?
Well, because it does give like different types of food, you still need like recipes and stuff like that. So I would just look up the certain items and then like kind of, I like salads and things like that. And so I'll just use one of your examples of like, avocado and because that's like my favorite fatty acid. I mean, fatty food, and make a recipe from that, you know? And so that's what has been helpful.
I love it. And we have like this toolkit that I'm gonna be rolling out as like a free resource, and it includes like salad empowerment. It has like 3 different salads, salad
hmm
combos you can make, and then 3 different juice and smoothie combos you can
hmm
make, and then it gives you like an exercise plan that you can utilize as well. And it kind of talks about mindset, mindful eating, and movement. And I love that you take it and then you figure out recipes to go with it. One of my biggest things with helping people is I don't like to tell people what to eat, exactly what to eat. Like, I don't like
hmm
to tell them exactly what to eat. I like to say, what do you like? What are you in the mood for? And now let's build an empowered plate. Let's build an empowering, healing foodie experience that
Yeah.
aligns with what it is that you either already have at home or that you're in the mood to eat. So it's not like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Because if you follow what I tell you to do on the journey, you're going to always look to me to tell you what to do versus trusting your body and knowing that these foods are what's best for me. And so I love that you took the information that's supposed to help you reduce your chronic pain and kind of regulate your period flow, and then find recipes you would like to explore to own it. And so I love that you said that, DeShanda.
Yeah, yes,
I
for
was expecting
sure.
you to say
And
that.
that's wise of you to not give a like super strict list of your do's and don'ts, because realistically it's a true lifestyle. And so for someone to just go through a guide that's like hard and fast, do's and don'ts, eat this and eat that at this time and all the things, realistically, how are we going to really like implement that in your life. What does that look like for you for on a real day-to-day basis? You know what I mean? And so we are creatures of habit. And so if you cut me straight off, right, it'll be a harder transition. And so to be able to just give me a loose guide of the anti-inflammatory foods, and then now I can personalize it to the things that I like to eat, like sweet potatoes.
And that
So
was
yeah.
definitely on there. That was definitely on there.
Hmm.
And even more so, like I know salmon is like a big part of people's life that consume meat. And even though I don't consume meat and I'm on a high raw journey right now, I know salmon could be very beneficial for people who are open to consuming salmon. And it has its benefits for people with endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome. But I like that you talked about that and you brought that into conversation, because I wasn't even expecting you to talk about the guide, but you hit on other things in the guide as well, because you talked about deep breathing. And so when we talk mindset, it's about getting in those 7 to 9 hours of sleep, getting in that adequate rest that your body absolutely needs, especially with a chronic condition. But then managing distress as well. But speaking of mindset and resilience, DeShanda, you had your first surgery that diagnosed you with stage 4 endometriosis. Was that around what year was that?
In 2013. Yeah.
Okay.
And so,
And you told me, I feel like you told me it was one of the most painful and hardest times of your life. Um, and so I kind of wanted you to tell me, how did you cultivate a mindset of resilience and ownership during such a challenging period of your life? And how do you continue to stay positive and focused to this day?
yeah, man, it definitely was the most challenging experience outside of losing my grandmother. It was, I consider it the most challenging experience I've had in my life. And so, what makes me like persevere is that pain was just so hard to deal with. Like it would literally take like my breath away. Like I would be at work, and I would just have to like be walking or like hunched over or like gingerly, and people, it was just so noticeable. And so I'm just like, okay, it was kind of low key embarrassing. And so I'm just like, I don't want to have to deal with this um to this degree, out in public. And so, um, in order for me to navigate that season, I felt like I did have to get surgery. And so, for to like, how do I want to say? Um, I'm trying to phrase it in a way that makes sense. Although that was the most challenging era, I am determined to again not allow it to consume my life. And so what that means is um, moving forward. I don't know what else to say, Jojo, because although it's challenging, you can't allow hurdles and struggles and obstacles to just leave you right there, right? Like, so you have to fight. You have to really fight and own, try to get back the life that you want. And so that what that looks like, it looks like doing the hard things of adapting to a lifestyle that you didn't really think you would be living, or eating certain things that you didn't think that you would be eating, or giving up, right? Like it's at a cost. It really is. The struggle, it is at a cost, but at the end of the day, it's for my good. And so that's why I'm determined to continue to do what I need to do to live a better life.
I love it. And I know you were like, I don't know what else to tell you but fight. But you're right. And it's challenging. But I like the part when you said you just have to do the hard things. And I always remind people that you can do hard things because you've done hard things before. And you just said the hardest thing you had to do was grieve the loss of your grandmother. And so then this was like the next hardest thing you ever had to do, but you
Hmm.
already knew that you can do hard things because you've done it before.
Right.
Another thing that you brought up was changing your lifestyle. that again comes with grief. Like when you have to change things and let stuff go and go in a different direction, that is still a part of you that is no longer the part of you that is going with you forward in a forward
Mhm.
motion, because you can't take that part of you forward if you're trying to heal and you want to see life better, and you deserve that better life. And so when you say make sacrifices and starting to adopt and adapt to a different lifestyle, that lifestyle clearly is going to be better for you because it's better for your body. And if it's better for your body and your body has to go wherever it is that you want it to go and vibe the way
Mhm.
you want it to vibe, you have to find a way and navigate that path for yourself. And I call it my healing, my journey. I'm right now on a high raw journey because I feel like that's what I'm gravitating towards when it comes to my healing journey. And I'm absolutely loving it. Like my period has been a total different experience for me on a high raw journey. My mood has been
Mhm.
a different vibe. And I can just feel it, and people feel my energy a whole lot differently. And I love that. But I think so many people think about what they're giving up instead of realizing how they're showing up. And
Mhm.
that's the beautiful thing. When you start showing up in life with intention and you're doing it for you and for
Mhm.
the parts of you that hurt and the parts of you that doesn't have a cure, but you can still care for it, it's a total life-changing experience when you can show up for life like that. And everybody can't do that, because when you start talking about changing foods, now I got to hit you with food addiction. Now I got to hit you in places where you like to cope when it comes to food. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's a whole nother area of healing that someone has to take and embark on before they can flourish, in this new direction. That's the hard part. Like you really
Exactly.
have to think about that relationship with food. But again, it starts with your mind. It's, what do I believe about myself? Do I believe that I could have less painful days with endometriosis, knowing that there's not a cure? And if I know I
Mhm.
can have less painful days by shifting how I move my body, how I feed and nourish my body, I
Yeah.
might be able to do these things because I know I deserve to live a pain-free life or as less pain as possible. Like, I
Yeah.
think I can do that because that's within my
Mhm.
power. That's within my control. So I like that you brought up the fact that you can do hard things, do the hard things, push through, fight for what you know you deserve when it comes to life. So that way your mindset can be where it needs to be. So you can shift into the food. So you talked about treatment. So you had your first endometriosis surgery. You had stage 4 endometriosis. You had a large mass or cyst on your ovary. What
Mhm.
did your treatment look like after that? What was your approach to your body after
It
that,
was
DeShanda?
terrible. It was terrible. Gosh, oh my goodness, Jojo. I was like 135 pounds post surgery. By the time everything was said and done as far as getting it removed, and doing like add back therapy, I was like 118 pounds. Like I couldn't really like keep anything down. Like smells would just trigger me to be nauseous. I was constipated at the same time. And then, dealing with the pain medication, like the narcotics, like that's not fun. And so it was a really trying time. And so after I got the surgery done, they did like an add back therapy and they put me on like Lupron. And that was torture because then that medication kind of like shuts all of my woman parts, all the things like down. And so it sends your body into like menopause. And so I was like 20 something experiencing menopause and ew. Yeah, no, it's not fun. And so after that, I then just got on birth control, because I didn't want to have my periods. And they said, "Oh, well, now's the time. Like, if you do want to get pregnant, like, if you do want to, you're most fertile, like right after the surgery." I'm just like, I'm 20 something. I'm not, that's not an option. Uh, so that's not happening. And so then I just, got back. I did Depo. So I was on Depo Provera after that. And so I was on that for quite some time, like at least till the next time it was time for me to get another surgery. And so that did it. It just masked it. It didn't help it really. It just really masked it. It was just like a band-aid. And come 2021, the summer, yeah, summer of 21, I had it, it regrew, right? So my period started getting more severe. I was in having more pains. And so I knew it was the same thing. Um, and I was like, okay, well, now this is my second surgery and I don't want to do this again. And so that's when I really got more serious about eating more cleaner and more healthier and having like a plant-based diet. And so, yeah, that's up until today. That's where I'm at right now. But I really, really do not plan on ever getting surgeries. I'm just like, Father, I know that you have the ability to heal me. And even if you don't, you are still good. And I'm still going to do what I have to do to reverse this because I do believe in the power of the food that you created coming from the earth. And I know that I can heal. I can heal myself. With your help, I will be healed. I'm claiming that and I believe it.
I like that you said that. I agree. I agree that the food and the herbs and the sun, I believe that all of those things definitely have its ability to heal the body. And so I think for me, I felt like how you felt. And I just had one surgery and it was stage 4 endometriosis. It was everywhere: bowels, rectum, appendix, fallopian tubes were attached, and things were like it had to have reconstruction. There was a large cyst on my right ovary. So it was a lot going on when they finally went in as well. But I was like, I don't want this to happen again. And I don't want to have to go through another surgery before you can go back in and try to reconstruct some stuff, clean things off the organs. I was just like, I don't want to do that. What can I do
Mm-hmm.
moving forward to help decrease or eliminate or minimize me ever having to go through this again? And so I was told that, nutrition could help. Again, we know there's no cure for endometriosis, but doing everything that's within your power, I think
Mm-hmm.
is a brilliant move. And so I got more into like functional nutrition. And it is like what you're saying when it came to the anti-inflammatory guide that I had available for everybody. It was, all the different foods, all the different mindset activities, self-care activities to help decrease the pain, regulate the period, the different exercises that would be ideal for your body as well. And so I really got into the functional nutrition part of it. But something you said, you said you got into the add back therapy. And then you talked about them saying, oh, well, this is the perfect time to get pregnant. My doctor said the same thing. He was like, well, if you want to have kids, you need to hurry up and have them now. Like, all right, how do you want? And it's just kind of like, I don't believe that I should have this conversation with you because I don't really think that you telling me I need to hurry up is me deciding when I want to be a parent. And it just didn't seem natural. Like I never thought I would go through life and then a doctor have to tell me if I want kids, I need to have them right now. Like who, like I never knew that you kind of played a part in this. Like
Right.
no,
No,
and at the
no.
time I was single and it's like, do I want to be a single mom? Is it that serious for me to even be like, okay, well, if I gotta have it now, what do I need to do? And sometimes I wonder if because they're specialists and they do like IVF, if they're trying to think about the next set of business opportunities for them to create that opportunity for you to be able to continue, your care with them because they found this issue and they say, you know what, it's probably going to be harder for you if you don't do it now or soon.
Mm,
It's going to be an issue. And I'm just like, nah, that's it. Nah, I'm good. Whenever the time comes, that's when I wrap my mind around that option. And if that looks like adoption, if that looks like, whatever it looks like for me, that's what it's going to be. But first, I need to take care of me. How can you add on a potential child, when you I just woke up and you're telling me all these things that was going on in my body? Like, make
yeah,
it make sense. So
it's
that
not.
stood at me when you said that.
I am not like I'm not about to subscribe to that. Like, oh, you have to have a child. Because even people who do, I have spoke with women who have endometriosis, and after they did have a child, it did subside, right? Like, so they weren't necessarily healed, but they didn't. It didn't look like anything prior to, but I'm like, that's not a reason. Like, I'm not married. I'm not about to just go. But it did make me seriously consider. I even like prayed about it. I was like, well, should I just, like freeze my eggs? Like, I was like 27, 28 at the time. I'm now 35. I must be 36. And so, it really made me consider that. I'm like, should I? I'm like, no, you know what? Lord, you did it for Sarah. You did it for Hannah. And so if that's my story, that's gonna, you're able. Okay. You're able. And so I'm not even gonna like, believe that that's what I need to do. What I'm doing right now, to fit my right now and my lifestyle right now is the things that I'm doing, which is breathing, exercising, eating cleaner, and, um, having talks like this, right? Like making it more visual and more acceptable to be discussed and not be embarrassed about or shamed or anything like that. And so, yeah, that's
I
what
don't
I'm
even
doing.
think you're like shamed like that. Like I honestly, and I know you like the theme of ownership because you're a real estate investor, and I
Mm,
like it too. You really do own your endo power and strength because I even remember you telling me, as a flight attendant, sometimes when the pain gets the pain, you know what I mean? You have to get that hot water bottle. You have to get that comfort, and it's telling your fellow crew members like, hey, can you handle this, because right now I need a moment for myself. Like, you really do own it, and I love that about you, because even though you said sometimes you were feeling ashamed and embarrassed about how long it was taking you to do things and hunchback, and at the
mm,
end of the day you're still pushing through. You are still owning what your experience is like with endometriosis, but still showing up. Like, you're
yeah,
still showing up. And I hope you give yourself that grace and that love to know that even when it gets tough, even like today, when you have to give yourself an extra hour, you didn't plug in the schedule, that you know what, DeShanda, you're still okay. You're still making moves. You still putting in bids. You still about to own this property. You're
right.
still doing all the things,
Yes, I
even if
am.
this hour has to kind of back and give myself a little bit. So we talked
Yeah.
a little bit about mindset.
Thank you, Jojo.
You're welcome. We talked a little bit about mindset. We talked about deep breathing, and I don't think people give deep breathing enough power to realize how it could really reduce some pain and relax the central nervous system and your muscles, because we know that endometriosis pain is real. That adenomyosis, that endometriosis tissue that grows on the outside of that pelvic muscle, the uterine
Mm,
muscle, like that pain is on one too. And
right.
so that deep breathing can definitely help. So don't sleep on the deep breathing. Don't sleep
Mm,
on not getting to sleep. And then just being mindful of yourself. And then you talked about your eating. You're enhancing your anti-inflammatory foods. You're getting in your low glycemic fruit, your berries, your nuts,
mm,
your seeds, that healthy fat, the avocados, and you're looking at different recipes so you don't get bored, and you get excited about the foods that you're eating because you know it's helping
mhm.
fuel your body, nourish your body, so you can vibe. But then you also talked about movement and your movement as a tool of ownership, and you say, I like to run, JoJo. So you're passionate about exercise, running, resistance training. How has staying active played a role in managing your endometriosis, and what advice do you have for others who want to incorporate movement into their lives despite the chronic pain that we know can creep up?
Oh man, exercise is just as important as the mindfulness, because your mental. I didn't realize how much. Like at first, I was like exercising because, well, I did like cheerleading and track and stuff like that. So I never really got out of not being active. Is something that I enjoy, but as you get older and life and you work, I still and I see people who who were like in my class and like or a little bit older than me, and they were looking like that's such and such. Like, oh no. So then, so then honestly, I don't know if it's like shallow or not, but I was like, I don't want to look like that when I get older. I don't want to be looking all crazy. So at first, I was like exercising to maintain, right? Like to maintain like, your body, your figure and all the things. But I was like cycling really, really hard, because that is just amazing. But then I stopped doing it. And then what happened was I didn't realize how much exercise really helped me mentally. Like it's a game changer. It's a game changer. So for me, I
Pause. Not a game changer, a life changer.
life
Play.
changing. It's a life changer. It's necessary. Even just a simple walk, like the way that God created all the ecosystem, he's just a genius, but it's necessary, right? It's just simply necessary. I'm going for a walk, stretching, um, deep breathing, yoga stretches and stuff like that. It's just necessary, Jojo. There's nothing else I can say about it when it comes to being active. It's just super necessary. And so if it's not part of your life right now, I would at bare minimum incorporate it, at least just 15 minutes a day, or just even commit to 15 minutes 3 times a week, right? Before, during, after work, a lunch break, like set a timer, and just go and take a walk. And be mindful of it. Just, you know what I mean? It's necessary. And you'll see that it's actually really, really, really good. So
I love it. So something that stood out to me when you talked about that, I don't want to look crazy either. Like I think about like the walking through the mall, the power walkers back in the day through the mall, and how they were really lapping the mall and getting it. Man, that is me all the way with Spencer when we go and get our walks in the morning. I know I look like those people in the mall now, and I was
so
like 37 at the time of this recording. But it made me think about that when you were talking about I'm in this class, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't want to look like them. I don't know if that's shallow." I used to
listen,
laugh at the people in the mall. Now I'm getting my steps in. Let me get it going. Let me get
listen.
on it, girl. And I just be walking and swinging and going and waving at the people coming by, waving
You
at the
gotta
girls.
get it where you fit in, okay?
It
Honestly,
is.
however you need to do it, whether it's after dinner, before work, after work, during work, like you have to be we have to be intentional about getting exercise because it's vital. Seriously, it's vital.
I used to say all the time. I started saying it last year. Be intentional about being intentional. Because so many
Hmm.
people say just be intentional. No, be intentional about being intentional. So
Yeah.
you're really about what you say you're about because you know why you need to be doing the things that you're doing. And I know sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. You're like, well, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. You have to start prioritizing and owning your time to make sure you get in the time that's valuable for you. Again, your body has to go wherever you go. And so you have to make caring for your body, prioritizing for your body, your health, your well-being a priority. It can't not be a priority. And so I'm glad that you talked about that. And I know, you like to run. You're talking about running too. And when I started getting into it, running just gave me pain. It didn't make me feel good. Like the treadmill, trying to run, it would just cause soreness and more pain. And so for me, I know I'm more of a power walker.
Hmm.
Than I am a runner. But other people with endometriosis, they love to run and it feels good. And so your body works the way you want your body to work, but you have to be aware. There's freedom and awareness, and there's healing when you are aware. And so, like, get out there and just start moving and grooving and find out what your body responds to. So that way
Hmm.
you can be moving with intention and know that you're not about to be in a whole bunch of pain. And start
Hmm.
slow. Start with just one thing. Start with just a walk,
That's
a
it.
10-minute walk. Just start with a walk and see how your body feels. Then extend it to a 20-minute. Then you're at a 30-minute, and you're feeling it, you're feeling good, and you like it, do it. And if all you got is 30 minutes, that's fine. Then be intentional on how you're getting steps in throughout the day.
Hmm.
And I think that's a beautiful thing when it comes to that. But so you mentioned the importance of faith and action, citing that faith without works is dead. How has your faith influenced your journey, and what actions have you taken to support your belief in living a pain-free and fully functional life, DeShanda?
Man, that's such a good question, Jojo, because one of the fruits of the spirit is long suffering. And so I know and I believe that God is able to heal me. And I'm very confident in that. And again, even when it comes to fertility, like Sarah was 99. And so I'm really honestly, genuinely not concerned with whether when I become a mother or not, or if he, like, when he does heal me. I just know that he is able. And so when it comes to long suffering, it is a fruit of the spirit. So it is something that we have to endure, like, period. And so we can't be, not to be so, like, biblically or like churchy, but we today don't want to suffer. We want everything quick satisfaction, microwave results. And although I've come to grow and learn that, like, although I am suffering temporarily, it's not going to be compared to the glory that shall be revealed through Christ Jesus. Like, literally, that's what he says. And so he also said that he's going to be with me in it, right? Like, so I don't have to do it alone. I don't have to bear alone. He said to cast my cares on him because he cares for me. And so my faith is extremely important through this journey, because he's teaching me to suffer and to suffer well, right? Like, and not suffer in agony, in frustration, in impatiently, right? Like, so we have to be patient. And so that, coupled with me doing the things that I practically know how to do and am doing, my faith is matched with his word. And so I know I am going to be okay, and I am okay. And I trust him at the end of the day.
I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. And I agree with you. People don't want to suffer. They expect immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
They want quick fixes. They don't want to embrace and trust the process.
Yeah.
That you are on it, and I have to remind myself to kind of put that out there, that even though I am a healthy habits and lifestyle coach and I'm here to help people and empower them along their journey and support them, I'm not for people who want quick fixes. Like,
Yeah.
changing your lifestyle isn't a quick fix. And if you do it too quickly, it won't be sustainable and you won't find enjoyment in it. And it's going to take a while. And so if you're not excited about embracing the change and knowing where you're going and looking forward to the destination and putting systems in place in order to truly adopt the habits and make sure they're long term so you can get to the place that you want to get to,
Yeah.
I'm not for you. And a lot of times too many people are looking for those quick fixes, those hurry up and turnarounds. Let's lose the weight. Let's just not have the pain. Let's just, and when there's no cure for some of these things and the root cause are inflammatory conditions like gut issues, it takes a while to get your gut together. It takes a while for your lymphatic system to get right. It takes a while for you to really find the right foods and get them in the way you want them to. It takes a while for you to start really shifting your mindset and seeing and believing yourself and doing the things that, your body deserves and your life deserves and you deserve to have when it comes to abundance. Like, it takes time to do those things. So I like that you said that people aren't willing to suffer. And I think when you shift that mindset, am I really suffering or am I enduring? And in the enduring, you know what I'm saying? I'm building resilience. And in that resilience, I'm getting stronger, confident, bold, courageous. And now the stronger I am, no matter what obstacles and challenges come, I'm still an overcomer because obstacles are created for me to be overcome. Like, there's nothing that's going to stop me from being able to go after the things that I want to go after because I keep showing up for me.
You better preach. I like that. You better preach.
DeShanda, if you don't cut it
in. No, you are speaking facts, JoJo. It's so super good. You're speaking true facts, like, for real. Enduring, overcomer. We're not made to be defeated. We're not made to be defeated. If we know our history, where we are and where we're going, it makes this life, right, this temporary trials and tribulations, it makes it just that much easier to navigate and go through, because at the end of the day, this place is not our home. Like, we about to get Bible, like, it's not my home. And so listen, when you talk about enduring, there is an opportunity, and there will be time for us to get on the other side of it. But we just have to endure and overcome. We're not made to be defeated. Like, we won't be defeated. And again, so in the meantime of us not being defeated, do the things that we can practically actually do, right? And do them well and do the best you can, because that's all you can do. That's
The
it.
best that you can, and give yourself grace for everything else. Like, give yourself grace for everything else after that or anything
Mhm.
else. And so it's really just taking that suffering, which sounds like a distress, and turn it into enduring, which sounds like a
Mhm.
eustress, because now you're motivated. You're pushing towards something else. And so
Mhm.
it's a different shift. But
Yeah.
let's talk about community, DeShanda. Let's talk about community. So you emphasize the importance of not suffering in silence and reaching out for help. How has connecting with a community of like-minded people helped you in your journey? And what advice would you give to others who feel isolated in their struggles with endometriosis? And have you ever felt isolated in your struggles?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going next, Jojo. Because when we talked about enduring, um, part of the good news is that we're not alone, right? And so we don't have to endure and navigate this life period alone. You're not alone. And community has been helpful. And even speaking and, talking to people like you, it just makes, and making this visible. Like, you think that, like, you're the only one, and we're not. And so having conversations like this, and talking to other women who are navigating PCOS and endometriosis, fibroids, all the things, it just is encouragement. And it just empowers me to know that I can overcome, and that I can handle this, that I can do this. Like, we can do it collectively together. And you have an ear, right? Like, so just talking about it is part of the decompressing of the stress, right? Like, so you don't have to be dealing with this alone. You have an ear to talk about your struggles with and your victories with. And so community has been vital in the whole mindset of everything, also, because, yeah, you're not alone, JoJo. So it just, it feels like, I don't know another word outside of, like, being encouraged and being comforted that
Mhm.
you're not the only one, like, persevering. Like, it's just comforting knowing that we're not the only ones, and we're just doing the best we can.
I like comfort. I like comfort and I like courage. I think
Mhm.
because when you're in a setting that's a comfortable enough space for you to show up as you, with your trials, with your experiences, and be able to share that and be vulnerable enough, because you're comfortable enough to be vulnerable, then you will get the courage,
Mhm.
to keep going. And so
Mhm.
I like comfort and courage. That sounds good, DeShanda. I like that. If you could create um, your own community, or choose, say, hey, this would be the best community for me, someone with stage 4 endometriosis who doesn't want to have another surgery and want to adopt healthy habits and lifestyle changes, and want to be able to share and want to be able to get that comfort and build the courage to keep going, what would that perfect community look like of support for people with endometriosis and PCOS to you, DeShanda?
To me, that would look like, um, possibly, I think I like physical meetups, right? And so I love, like, even if it's like once a year, you know what I mean? Like, getting up with other like-minded women, um, to just have a weekend of, like, relaxation or just fun and games. That would be dope. That would be dope to me. But more on a day-to-day basis or a monthly basis, maybe just like virtual calls, just of us talking about um, what what we went through for the month. Like for me, mine, I think is coming twice this month, right? And so, um, it would be nice to just kind of outside of like, telling your best friends or your parents or what have you, to have like another sister be like, listen, and it's not a pity party. It is more so just having an ear, just discussing your experiences. So even if it's just like once a month, you are virtually having a conversation about navigating this lifestyle, sharing tips and tricks about what worked well for you this week, what didn't work well, and just having like even discussions, like a virtual space where you can just have discussions about your day to day, weekly, how or what have you. That's what I think of when I think about a community. And again, it is just being visual. It's making us be seen, and not being ashamed of the whole diagnosis. And I think that also people like sharing their victories, like their wins, can be super encouraging and empowering for others to make the change, because like, oh, I don't want to give up me, I don't want to give up this, I don't want to give up that. You don't want to give up the very thing that's necessary to help you be further along on your journey of healing and being, pain free. Once you see other people doing things that is helping them progress, you will be empowered, you will be encouraged to make that change too, right? Like I think that I know that that would be helpful for someone, and definitely for me. So yeah.
I like that, DeShanda. So you pretty much said visible. So visibility, being in a place where you feel seen, and
Hmm.
you know you're seen, and everything that you're going through, you see it in others as well. So
Hmm.
being visible. Then you said being vocal, being able to speak, share experiences, be able to have that voice in a safe space,
Hmm.
that doesn't sound like there's a pity party, but being able to speak up about what you're experiencing and hope that it helps other people as well. And then you talked about being vibrant
Hmm.
enough that when we come together, it feels like a bond. It feels like a relational capacity has
Yeah.
been set. So there's this vibrancy about where we're flowing and moving forward with our life on our healing journey. So it's a vibrant experience. And then the last one you said was being victorious, finding
Hmm.
ways to be victorious, finding ways to win,
Hmm.
despite endometriosis, while we own this condition and its symptoms and everything else, but finding the victories in all of it. So I
Yeah.
like it. So it's like a community around V's. So
Yes.
I got you in regards to that. So thank you. And I bet other people will pretty much um, can see those same things and see how they would be beneficial. But
Hmm.
just because we're talking to other people, y'all, right now, if you're vibing with this conversation and you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you share this with somebody you want to be able to get this knowledge into, or maybe you've heard them go through some of the experiences that you heard from DeShanda or myself, and you want them to be enlightened and empowered along the way. Share
Hmm.
this with someone that you love and care about. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, you can drop in the comments right now. What would that community, that ideal, perfect community look like for you, as well as YouTube? Drop it in the comments. And if you're on Apple, rate the podcast and let us know how you feel like we're doing thus far in this conversation. All right. So, DeShanda, picking back up, we're talking sustainable lifestyles, right? And you've already started clean eating. What are some practical steps you recommend for others who want to take ownership of their health and create sustainable, balanced lifestyles? Not trying to change everything all at once, but sustainable balance. How do you think people should begin to take a sustainable, balanced approach with life?
I would definitely say, start and I don't want to say it sounds cliche, but honestly, you really just have to start where you are. Like we all have different lifestyles, and different journeys. So wherever we are, start there. And what that actually looks like is, if you know that you're not consuming enough vegetables, consume that at least once a day, or put it in like, I'm gonna have meat free once a week, right? Like just start where you are by giving up the things that we know contributes to and inflammation. And so that is one of the things, because more than anything, honestly, it truly is a mindset thing. So start where you are by picking. I need to consume more fruits. I need to consume more vegetables. What does that look like? I'm going to do it 3 days this week: Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. Literally, that just baby step will be able to open up your mind to be able to then be receptive of making more gradual changes. And then the other part was, don't underestimate the power of nature and going for a walk and getting fresh breaths of air. And that whole mindful breathing thing is just, it brings a different peace in everything. So I would definitely be mindful of doing intentional, like, breathing exercises. It's a true coping mechanism. And so even if the things that I named wasn't helpful to you, um, figure out what it is and do that and use that coping mechanism for you. So it's very personalized. So that's what I would say, Jojo.
Okay, I like it. So one, start where you are. So just be
Hmm.
courageous to start where you are. Don't feel like you're far behind. Don't feel like
Hmm.
you have to catch up to anybody or anything. It's your healing, it's your journey. So start with
Hmm.
where you are. What can you do for you today? Two, eat more fruits and vegetables. Eat more fruits and vegetables. Get more anti-inflammatory foods into your consumption. All right.
Yes.
So eat more fruits and vegetables. Get moving, and if you can, get moving outside so you can be able to
Hmm.
have that vitamin D, that way to really get your endorphins flowing, and you have
Hmm.
that sunlight coming in, that air. We won't call it as fresh, but it's something. It's different than the inside air. So you're out there moving and grooving. And then the power of deep breathing. Take moments to really deep breathe. I like to call it a 5 and 7. I inhale for 5, I hold for 3 seconds, and I slowly exhale for 7 seconds. And so it's a 5 and 7 for me. And I like
Hmm.
doing that before I go to sleep. I like doing that when I'm starting to feel a little anxious or overwhelmed. I like
Hmm.
doing it when I feel pain. Because it reminds me that there's tension in my body someplace. I'm tight in some areas and I don't even realize it. And so it's this thing called, say, let the belly hang. And so when I realize and do a body scan, I need to release my belly. I need to drop my shoulders. There's, might be tension in my jaw. And so it's like, do a body scan to
Hmm.
release tension that you don't even know that you're tight in. And that deep breathing allows me to recognize where that tension is because I'm doing the inhale, exhale, and I'm more aware of what's happening in my body because of the deep breathing. So I like that. That is definitely personalized,
Hmm.
DeShanda, and I thank you for breaking that down. So how do you balance your professional responsibilities with managing endometriosis, and what strategies do you use to ensure that your health remains a priority?
How do I balance my professional responsibilities?
Hmm.
Ooh, Father. So, I don't know if it's the healthiest thing, but I just do my best to get it done. Honestly, again, I don't know if that is the best way to answer it, but just like my example from this morning, like, there's literally, when your body, like, when they say health is wealth, it's truly a fact. And you are what you eat. It's truly a fact. Because everything that makes those cells get broken down and into your body, all the into your blood, all the things, you literally are what you eat. And without your health, you can't be professional. You can't be a dad. You can't be a mother. You can't do anything. And so just giving myself time to self regulate when those pains flare up or whatever, is how I'm managing to be able to continue to be professional and maintain my career. I just have to listen to my body, honestly. And again, I don't allow it to consume me. I give it for a little time. I give it a moment. I give it this little moment to shine, and then I'm like, okay, now let's move forward. We have things to do, so and pretty much my body listens to me. And I am mindful to honestly like thank my body and honestly thank God, because I don't know what I would do if it didn't like change. You know what I mean? I don't know what I would do. You literally can't do anything if you're in pain to a point where it like uh incapacitates you. You know, so
Agree. And some people are in that state of pain almost every single day, and they're looking for that type of help and that type of relief. And so holistically, there are things you can do, like an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, like deep breathing, like minimizing and eliminating, really eliminating distress in your life. If you're chronically distressed, it's going to exacerbate the condition even more.
mhm,
So while you might be looking for a health care treatment plan, if you're not doing your absolute best to dismiss the distress in your life, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're going to continue to subscribe to the pain that you're having. And
mhm.
so that stress is a big thing. Distress is a big thing. The food you eat is a big thing. Moving is a big thing. You got to get that energy flowing. You got to allow things to move, and then relaxing is a huge thing. And so I like that you kind of talked about those things.
Well,
Um,
I wanted to add, because the question was
okay.
specifically um, talking about like in your professional life, and I had to unlearn being like embarrassed about my condition. I just kind of like forewarn my, coworkers or, people that I'm around, like, hey, I don't give them my life story. Right. And so I'm just like, hey, I'm just, um, experiencing some women stuff right now. And so I just, if you don't mind, if you do this, I'll do that. Or just I'll take a little bit more time to get things done. Or like I just share the workload. And they are more receptive and super helpful when I just vocalize that I do need help. And so I'm not having the best day physically. And so I'm not ashamed to ask for help and to ask them to give me grace because today is a challenging day. But I'm here. So
I
that's
love
what I
that. And
do.
I'm glad you added that on there. Advocate for yourself. Speak up for
Hmm.
yourself. And know that if you're in a team setting or in a team environment, let them know that you need them to take on a few tasks and that you're willing
Hmm.
to do these things just as soon as you kind of get yourself together and are able to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you took away the shame, because there's nothing that you did to deserve endometriosis. So there's nothing shameful about it. And so once you take away the shame and you just own the fact that, you see that own? You saw that own there? Own the fact that you're doing everything you can with a chronic condition that has no cure, you'll be able to really uh, embrace your healing journey with empowerment. And then that way, those negative feelings of guilt and shame and defeat and unproductivity start to diminish, because you're so much more than those things. And that because you are navigating in a journey of strength with endometriosis, adenomyosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, fibroids, you got a whole different vibe for you. No
Yep.
one else other than you can tell you how proud you should be of yourself to overcome those moments in your day where you just feel like everything is shutting down. And I like too, DeShanda, when you said, I let endo have its little moment to shine. I let it have its hour today, but it didn't take the other 23 hours of my day. And I didn't just focus on that. And I love that you hit on that too. I'm gonna let you shine. I'm not gonna ignore that I did not have a flare up this morning, or I wasn't in some type of pain. But that pain wasn't gonna last all day, and I wasn't gonna allow my energy to be placed on that pain in regards to focus on it. So I thank you for that part. All right, so last two questions, DeShanda. So, give some tips to the girl dads, the male role models, the father figures, spouses of people who are experiencing endometriosis symptoms or PCOS symptoms, because maybe they don't have a diagnosis just quite yet, but it's the pelvic pain, it's the heavy or irregular periods, it's the lower back pain, it's the bowel movement pain, it's the pain and all the other things, the brain fog, all of this stuff. Give them some tips on how they can show up and be supportive and be a part of this healing journey?
This is a vital, like critical question. Because we talk about community, right? Support and what that looks like, but your at home life is extremely important also. I know earlier in my journey, I am abstinence. I'm abstinent now, but when I was active for that first surgery in 2013, I did have a partner and I was experiencing painful sex. Like it was it was extremely bad. I was like, God, are you punishing me? Like I thought I was being punished. I didn't understand. Okay. I didn't understand what was going on. I mean, to the point, like, I would even like stop and like go throw up. Like, I thought I was being punished. I didn't understand what was happening with my life. Come to find out, it's endometriosis. And so, your person, whether it's your mother, dad, or your partner, like, they have to have a willing heart to just step in and give you grace and be there for you as best as they can, whether it's going to heat up. My family literally already knows like to go and heat up like boil hot water and put it in my like portable bladder. Whether it's getting medications or going out and getting me, some more fruits and veggies, like they are just on it. Um, Even like last week, we were talking, having a normal day, and then all of a sudden we were playing cards, and then I'm just like, it showed up and I had to come and lay down. And so they already know, they're aware of when those flare ups happen. And so we just need you to continue to be there, to continue to be supportive in any capacity. I don't know what that looks like for you, but you know what it looks like for you, right? Just like how you know your own coping mechanisms. We just need you to just be supportive in all the capacities, in all the things, in all the ways, and give us grace. Pretty please give us grace, because this too shall pass. Truly, it's gonna pass. But yeah, just continue to show up and be there.
I love it. Thank you for that. And last question. If you could have a meal with any historical figure, who would it be and what would y'all eat?
Oh, a historical figure. Why you do this to me, Jojo? You both just let me know ahead of time. A historical figure. Honestly, my first mind went to Serena Williams. Yeah, because she's like my fitness like goal. Like anytime I need to do an extra push up or anything, I'm like Serena, and everything that her and her sister overcame, and just the plan that their dad had for them from the rooted to like it's mind blowing. So I love Serena Williams, and can I steal another one? I want another one, but I'll just follow directions. It would be her. What would we eat? I'm trying to get away from, but I'm struggling to give it up. But I absolutely love salmon. I love salmon. I love salmon, and so I would do my go-to, which is like salmon and some roasted veggies and like homemade mashed potatoes. Yum, and sauteed spinach. That's the meal we would be having.
My mouth watered. I love Serena Williams. You're the first Serena Williams for me. I love that she's like your fitness goal person, and just like how just her life has inspired you and empowered you to push up one more time and to keep going. So I like that. Your meal sounded really good. Not quite sure why you are trying to get away from the salmon, because it sounded like you really like the salmon. But the meal was good. The meal sounded great. And the meal with Serena sounded great. I don't know exactly what all y'all going to talk about, but I like
What do we
you didn't have to tell us, but go ahead. Let me hear it. What's one thing you want to talk about?
Oh gosh. Honestly, just girl talk, right? Like just life talk, like just girl talk, just life talk, like because I would just let it flow, like and just let it be organic. I won't be like, oh, what is it like to be a number one athlete woman? And
Right. I don't think
I would
that's
just want to be I
I don't
just
think that's
I
really
just wanted to let it flow. Like we're having a conversation, like just let it flow.
I,
And so yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that's
have
dope.
a I don't have a
I
special question I would have for her though.
like it.
Maybe Michelle
So,
Obama. I probably would get it together for Michelle Obama,
oh my God. Not have it together. Okay. Okay. Well, DeShanda, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. Would you like to provide one last word to anybody out there with endometriosis, PCOS, anybody out there coming here for a little empowerment for their
but
healing journey? Say some last words and then let everybody know where they can find you.
okay, yeah. Thank you again, Jojo, for having me. And my final words that I would say to a female dealing with chronic diseases such as PCOS or endometriosis is you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Don't rush your process or your journey, and just continue to do the best you can on a day-to-day basis and make small changes to heal your body because it can be healed, it will be healed, and you are enough. You are enough.
Thank you.
You can find me on IG at DeShanda Green. It's just simple at DeShanda Green, and I am a real estate investor. And so, yeah, just follow me on IG.
Y'all, it's been an absolute pleasure having DeShanda here in the Good Vibe Studio on the Empowered Place, Empowered Lives podcast. Y'all, in the description of this video, multiple links. Check them out to find some value and be able to pick up where you want to in regards to this conversation. But don't forget, in the description of the video, links to all the things that you might need, but also a comment section for you to let us know your takeaway. If you still have any type of question, something that stood out to you, something you wish we would have dug a little deeper into, keep the conversation going and flowing and let us know what you think and how you feel. But most importantly, y'all, it is your journey. It is your healing journey. Own it, love it, care for it, because no one should be more involved with your healing than you are. And don't look to anybody else to own your journey or help you with the healing more than you're willing to help yourself, because you can do it. There are things that you can do today to win your day because you deserve it. Y'all, it's your Healthy Habits and Lifestyle Coach, Giovanni. Y'all, it's been an absolute pleasure. But thanks for vibing with me, y'all.
Bye.